figure out how my kind of like microphone works and speakers because I couldn't hear anybody, which is so embarrassing when you have two coders kind of waiting for you, like people who are actually handling the computers and all the tech stuff. But anyway, welcome to the Omakase Show webinar series. My name is Olena, and today we will be kind of doing something super new, a new format that I'm trying to explore right now. So basically, I founded my own marketing agency, and a bit later this June, I launched my own marketing kind of digital art collection, where I decided to focus on generative art, computer-generated art, and we will be talking about this collection, and I will give you kind of a guide through how it works.
You muted your mic.
I muted myself, yeah. Bad day for mics and speakers today. Anyway, I'm sharing my screen just to give you our regular update is that you can always support our show by going to our profile on Twitter, which is the Omakase Show, and then you can send your donations in Ethereum using this button. So today we will be focusing on my personal code from beat to beat. This is kind of, I've been playing around with ChatGPT to understand how I can name it. And if you're not native English speaker, from greet means from like, I don't know, greet is like a table, like, I don't know. Yeah, it's liner stuff, and greet is courage, kind of, it's like a good noun to be associated with. And in this collection, we have lots of artworks, a lot of cool, incredibly talented creators, of them, Nico and Pawel. Hey guys, just remind everyone I already interviewed both Nico and Pawel before. So Nico, I interviewed him for a company I used to work at, which is called Live Art, and with Pawel we just recently had an interview. Both incredibly talented guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's start with Pawel. Can you tell us a bit more about yourself and what do you do? And yeah, how are you?
Hey, thanks for having me here. Thanks for the invitation. So my name is Pawel Dudko. I'm an artist who, explores algorithmic art. Basically, um, I work with code, and I started exploring this realm of generative or algorithmic art when I was working with 3D printing actually. So at some point I thought, why design 3D objects? Why use 3D modeling software to create something when there's a machine next to me which is printing it? So how about let's merge it? Let's make the computer create the object and then make it happen. And that's pretty much how I delved into generative art. And many years later, during the pandemics, during COVID, I didn't have access to my workshop, to my physical workshop, so I went back to sort of my first artistic passion, which was photography, and from there I started exploring a more visual part of the code, and this is where I'm now.
Thanks a lot for sharing. And then also, Nico, can you tell us a bit more about yourself and how you got into the space?
Yeah, definitely. I'm Nicu. I'm from Romania. I'm based in Bucharest, and I like experimenting a lot with stuff, not only computers, but everything around. I like to cut, burn, dig holes. I don't know. I'm building stuff, and this is just a continuation of what I was doing before. I always liked tinkering, and generative art just came in naturally. Maybe since 2020 something. And then the NFT era came about, so it was a good. I made the transition from web designing to actually make a living out of art or digital creation. And I'm experimenting a lot. Recently, I've been even trying to do some performance. upon which the collection we have on Yara agency is based. It was a live performance in Bradford, UK. Very interesting. And I'm now experimenting with sound, and I'm sonifying the things that I'm making. So they also sound a bit crazy for now, but I'm sure it's gonna be nice. I also wrote a paper about algorithmic archaeology, I called it, and I've just presented it at UDK Berlin. It was well received. I drew a parallel between reaction diffusion systems and folk motifs. It was very interesting, and now I'm trying to draw the same, to take it further and to make it sound. So anyway, it's an algorithm that is coming from biology, and I saw the resemblance of the output with folk art, traditional art from around the world, and now I'm trying to go beyond visual to go into sound, and hopefully I'm gonna get also folk sound. I don't know, something like that. And that's me in a nutshell.
I
Hope.
I hope you will. I really hope you will get to the sound that you kind of want to achieve. Anyway, I would start like already with Nico. If you could explain what is generative art, maybe how you kind of use this medium, and I will also put on your artwork that you created.
Generative art, yeah, it's a very wide term. It also includes AI, but we're not talking about that. I mean, I'm not into that, and from what I've seen, Pavel is not either. I mean, I'm using AI, but to help me with code, that's all, and the proposal of the project. Okay, generative art, it's a kind of art that uses an autonomous system to make the artwork, and it's been a while since it's around. I mean, in 1950 they were already experimenting with autonomous systems. Like first guy that tried to do this, one of the first guys was Herbert Franke, and he experimented with the oscilloscopes and the X-rays and stuff like that. So it's not a new thing. And to make a parallel, uh, is not like you're drawing with a brush and ink. It's like you're planting. I've read this somewhere. It's like you're planting a garden, and you set the algorithms, and then the nature grows the plants. That's a good metaphor for generative art. It's beautiful because it's always surprising, and it takes you in new directions that you weren't expecting. And mistakes are beautiful because they also take you in new directions. And the collection is a exploration of space and time. As I told you, these are outputs that I selected from a live performance, which, by the way, included sound and lights apart from this. And speaking of mistakes, I couldn't so it was all set up, but the projector, I was moving around on this stand with wheels. I just couldn't tune. So it was very blurry, but everybody thought that it was intentional, and it was good after all. And yes, the mentor I had there at U Bradford made the music, which is also very, very strange, a down tempo, tech, I don't know, industrial. It was a good experience. And this is the result, some of it, like snapshots from that stuff.
Some of the kind of outputs that were generated by the code that you created. This
Yes,
is
yes. And I
kind of
was
how.
speaking live on a stage there with some audience, and it added to the pressure. And as I told you, the the projections were not that great, but everybody thought that's what I wanted. Eh,
That is like so common, I guess, when you're doing an exhibition. Um, Pavel, I wanted to ask how you see kind of generative art, and then also to tell me more about the piece you for a lot of marketing materials because it feels like quite meditative and and also like attention grabbing. So yeah, please tell me more.
Thanks. I'm thinking where to start, and I really love what Nicu said about seeing some unexpected things, some serendipitous outputs in generative art, because I think that's a part of my practice as an algorithmic artist. But I think also it's like it's something that every artist experiences, that some of the process, sometimes the process just guides you, sometimes the process takes you to the places where you didn't know exist, but following this path you just had to get there. And between lenses, I think is is such a piece. It's a one-on-one, so it's not a part of any larger series, but it's a result of my meditation, of my thinking about how do we actually perceive digital art, how do we perceive image, and I wanted to create something that wouldn't look um, direct, obvious, but more something that we can that feels like it's perceived through a lens or through an apparatus. So what we are seeing is not exactly a something described. We're seeing an abstract shapes that merge, that oscillate, that move around, and with all these colors merging, we can assume what it could be. It's like looking through a tinted window or frosty window. We can assume it could be microcosm, or maybe a cosmos, moving planets, or I don't know, like sitting in a bus on a winter night in the city and seeing all the neon lights passing by, right? So I think this is where I'm going with, or what I like to explore maybe with my art. That's a better word. I like to create these meditative pieces that I would love to hear that they put people in some kind of mood, more introspective, that they not necessarily focus on the art, but they are, thanks to my art, they are finding more and deeper meanings within themselves.
I think they definitely do. For sure. Thanks so much for sharing. I wanted those in the collection because basically I couldn't invite all the artists that are featured in here due to time zone restrictions and also like the capacity of this kind of webinar format that I currently kind of have. So I will just give some introduction on behalf of the artists that created their works and kind of trusted me with them. I have one artwork that you can see in here, which is like interesting. It's actually HTML file, so you kind of can go and play around with it and see generates. And the main idea is this artist, he's based in Singapore. He was trying to build a code based on nothing, and this is how the title came out. Securing Victor Acevedo. I was also interviewing him for the Omakase show. He was creating digital art since the 80s, so he's kind of like a digital art nomad. He currently also releasing a collection on Object, and this piece was created in 2025, but I guess it has some respective to his early work which he created in the 80s. I also have an amazing artist, Fernando Cabral, who also experiments with coding. I have several artworks but by Metan Paes. By the way, Paweł, he's also Polish, but he lives in Asia. I don't remember. He kind of uses coding and AI to create art, which is also like I think so his two works I think they're like really commercially like pretty and I think it's like for writing articles and for marketing materials as well. we have another artwork by Nygilia. She's an incredibly talented person, and she actually was meant to be a speaker at this webinar, but I guess she couldn't make it. Anyway, so this one is, if I do remember correctly, it was also coded, but she is a media artist, and this artwork comes with a physical print. And overall, it's also dynamic. I'm just not turning it on to showcase you because I'm afraid to lose my connection. And Tagout, also made by a Latin American artist. He's based in Colombia, and it comes with a physical print. And it is also creative coded, and his artworks are they all are made within a similar aesthetic, and also like really memorable, extremely pretty, and he's so hardworking. So basically, so whenever I was kind of creating this job, every artist, and Nicu and Pawel can confirm, had to give me some materials, some biography, and Butrago, he kind of submitted everything like weeks before anyone else did. He was like, and we also have an artwork by Victor, and we have an artwork by Asian-based artist that lives in London. She uses AI kind of to create it. It's really pretty within her own aesthetic. And another work that I'm so kind of proud to have in my collection was actually created in 80s, so in 1982 by Michael. Michael is an artist that I also interviewed, and he is American, who lives in LA, has an independent movie production company that was operating also since the 80s, and he has an absolutely beautiful outlook on life. He was promoting gender equality and a lot of beautiful things in 80s in a way where when it wasn't common and it wasn't like and he shared with me an artwork and allowed me to put it out for sale. And I guess like the interesting part is that this artwork is also in Pompidou archives because Michael has been quite established artist and he was doing it for a lot of years. Some of his works are placed in Pompidou archives, and this artwork I also, if I kind of I can browse and look for it, but there is like a whole photography of this artwork being presented at a venue in a way in like 80s, in the like mid 80s, I would say. So art that I personally really enjoyed, and I think this was kind of my main objective, to put together art that I love. And another kind of operational thing, we go to my profile on Twitter, which is post that is like kind of like pinned on top and in the thread, which is kind of NFT, the Yara agency. Well, anyway, I'm going back to Nicu and Pawel because I'm starting to feel anxious that I'm talking like way too much. Okay, guys, can you tell me more about what are you working on right now and what are you planning to do?
Okay, you start. You go on, Pavel, or should I? Your connection is not that great, Lola. Just so you know, maybe you do something about it for the next seminars, because you are very robotic. Or maybe, how was it for you, Pavel? Did you hear everything?
A little bit jittery, yeah.
Just so you know.
Okay, thanks for letting me know. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you go, Nicu.
Okay, so what am I working on right now? As I told you before, I'm trying to make a sonification. So I'm using some reaction diffusion models that I'm using I'm generating in P5.js, and I'm taking some of that output and I'm sonifying it with super collider. Uh, so it's like trying to make sense, sound sense of some very intricate patterns that I'm generating there. Reaction diffusion, it's an algorithm, it's a nature inspired algorithm, and it explains some shapes from nature, like animal prints, like animal patterns, like zebra or leopard. It can generate that kind of thing, or very intricate microbial organic mycelium stuff. Pavel knows about it, as yes. And I'm trying to sonify that. So that's what I'm working on right now, because I'm trying to make like an interactive installation, but also maybe write a paper about it, because I got into this paper thing. They published that paper, and yes, it's quite satisfying. And as I told you, when I've been to Berlin to present that this last paper, it was very interesting there. It was an algorithmic pattern conference. I didn't thought about telling you about it, Pavel, but now that I know you, I will next time. And a lot of very interesting people and interesting projects, from textiles to pottery. Was this guy? He was trying to record both music, but also he was questioning the durability of our data, you know, and in an artistic way he tried to make pottery and engrave it somehow, and code and engrave information in it, like for thousands of years. But of course it was just artistic, because you have to know the language. So he didn't go binary. Anyway, very interesting people there, as I told you, from music to textiles and to pottery, everything algorithmic, and it's an amazing world. So yes, that's why I'm exploring sound, and that's my direction.
What you said to sonify it or something like this. What does it mean?
Sonify, make music out of it.
Sonify.
Yes, imagine like you know, like the graph that you see when you play music. What's that called? When you visualize the music.
You mean the waveform?
Oh yeah, it's like Kandinsky. This is what Kandinsky did, I guess, right?
Yes, but the other way around. So I'm not making the waveform from music. I'm making the picture, and I'm making music out of that picture. That's what I'm trying to do, to make it sing.
How do you make something like this? Like technically?
I told you I'm generating the visuals, which are alive. You know, they are moving. If you know reaction diffusion, you would understand. It's just like, imagine living cells that are growing, that are evolving, and I'm exporting some of those shapes into a super collider, is called. It's an algorithmic thing that you can create music with. So in real time, it reads the picture and makes some kind of noise. But at first, it's only noise. I'm trying to make it into music, because it sounds very harsh. But I'm getting there. Right now, it's like crazy movie. I don't know. When I play it loud, I have big speakers at home. Man, I don't know about the neighbors, but what to do. So yes,
If you want, I can introduce you. I can introduce you to one guy. He's a collector of digital art, but he's also a musician. So maybe he would be open to collaborate on this one, just to help you with the music part to make it sound pretty.
Sure. I'm open to new contacts, always.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Pavel, what are you working on? What are you doing?
Oh, I'm working on something far less technical. I'm actually working on a new collection of, well, I would say a collection that explores more the artistic process itself, but the result will be a set of artworks. It's not properly announced yet, like officially announced, but here and there some artworks pop, and some artworks are individually exhibited, like recently in Hong Kong or in Tokyo, Japan, thanks to NIORD. And this collection is something we actually recently talked about during our interview, and that's just exploring uh, the process, like not going with a typical generative collection where every artwork is derived from the same code, but more like working on the code and creating a collection as a work in progress. So gradually developing the algorithm and just curating some outputs, saving them when they are exceptional, interesting, inspiring, or yeah, or in some way special. So this is a little bit of different approach. It will be a collection, a set of one-on-ones, not a, how do you call it, like one of X, right?
Okay, so that's really interesting. So you kind of have a code, it creates a lot of outputs, and you kind of pick the ones you personally like and keep them.
Um, that would be a regular curated collection. What I do is I have a code, I write a code, I obviously have some. When you write a code, you very often save, like, oh, okay, I like this thing that's happening, so okay, I will save it as a version something something for to get back there in the future, right? In my case, when I like some output, I save not only like an image or a version, but I save just a full artwork, full code, and then after sometimes I revise them. Because I was really inspired by an interview with a Polish painter. Now I can't remember his name, but he said like he's working on his paintings, and when for example collectors or curators come and they see some canvases like turned to the wall, like nobody can see them, and they ask him, oh, that's something new. Yeah, that's something new. Can I see it? No. No, nobody can see it. But come on, just like 5 minutes or something. No, I can't see it. Nobody can see it because it's not finished. If I look at it right now and it's been not a month yet, for example, my experience will be messed up. So that's something I want to do now, but with generative art. So I save my artworks and I'm not looking at them for a period of time. So it will, yeah, I have like a full code for each artwork. That's why I'm not saving versions, seeds, whatever. I'm just saying full artworks. And then after time, I take a look at them and try to think, to see, oh, do I still like it? Or maybe it was some fascination of one particular effect or a color or I don't know, something, right? Because it happens. It happens a lot that you like something, then next week you look at it and you think to yourself like, what was wrong with me? It happens so often, right? So I want to go through this process intentionally, with patience, with meditation, with thinking about these artworks. Yeah, yeah. So the
That's
collection.
so impressive.
Thanks.
I
I
would
have.
never, I would never. I would never actually handle this. I couldn't like I don't know, I gotta know, like, I have to see, like I wouldn't have the patience not to see something that I created personally. But that's really impressive, and I feel like it's really nice way to kind of to meditate on your art to analyze it better.
It helps a lot. It helps a lot because I have a like how you call it, like a journal draft of my drafts, right? And after, when I look at them from time to time, like once a month or something like that, and I see new ideas in these artworks, new ideas in this concept. I remember what I was thinking about when I saved it or when I wrote it about whatever, but right now or after some time, I see new things which expand the artwork. So this is something important for me.
Are you planning to release it on Ethereum or you're still figuring it out? Because I know that you're really into ordinals as well.
Yes, I'm releasing it on Ordinals already. Like, I think the first artwork is there, is already inscribed. Second is almost there.
And you haven't seen any of them, or
No, I've chosen a few, and there are still many that I saved some time ago. I haven't looked at them yet. Yeah.
wow, that's Wow, okay. I'm also putting on screen my email address if anyone wants to go for a private viewing, which is a new experience for me because I never did any like viewing. So, should be fun. Just reach out to me via email and we can make it happen. I wanted to kind of ask guys the last question about generative arts and how anyone can get into it. Maybe you have some tips because it's like such a complex topic and such a complex thing. And I know that Pavel has his kind of journey where he was trying to create shorter codes. He was like actually learning a lot of stuff step by step. But also any creative coder I've been talking to has such like a vast majority of recommendations, including books and YouTube channels. So if you were to anyone who is listening to this, and is being curious about how do they get into it, what would you recommend?
Who goes first? Okay. Uh, just because last 2 weeks ago, I've been asked by an agency here to hold a workshop on generative art, and it was for some bank employees, which, as you can imagine, they had no idea about this, and I didn't know how to do it, and I researched the subject a bit, and I designed the workshop like I would have learned. You know, I don't have patience to start from zero and learn everything. I cannot do that. I don't have the patience. So I like to start very complicated. I take a piece of code and I just hack it. That's all. And I hack it and questions arise and I try to answer those, and from thing to thing I go to very complicated. Like I told you about this music thing, it is very complicated. Music, it's a very complicated subject. But if I were to start from zero and add information to that, I wouldn't do it. So I just started very complicated and try to make it work. And that's my recommendation. Just start. Just start.
What is to hack a code? Like
Hack a
step by
code
step. What does it mean?
to modify whatever you think, whatever you want in it, and to see what is the result of that. And by doing this, you see the result immediately. It's an immediate gratification, and from that you also learn. And if you keep doing this for 20 years, no, I'm exaggerating, but if you keep doing this, you learn a lot of things and you also get results. While if you just start with okay, let's draw a line, let's draw a square, I don't have patience for that. So I teach my students the same, and they really loved it. I mean, at the end, they each had like a complete work, and they were really crazy. I mean, I gave them a boilerplate code, many of them actually, and go crazy on it. That's my opinion. Because also there are so many ways you could do generative art. P5JS for me or GLSL, it's just one way to do it. There are a million ways. You cannot learn all of them. You'd better start from somewhere and see if you like it. If you don't, go somewhere else and do something else. You know, another tool like 3GS, or I don't know. There are so many. So I would start like that. Books, internet is has plenty of books. Coding Train, everybody knows about that, but that's mostly P5JS. K-series processing, that's where I will start. Now,
Um,
yeah,
Also, kind of, do you feel it is crucial, like even like Pavel and Nico, do you consider yourself more as a humanitarian, people who lean towards art, history, and all humanitarian kind of subjects, or you're more like a tech guys who actually like understand math? I'm trying to understand how important it is to be techie to get into coding.
I don't think, no, it's just a perception. Whatever you feel that you are, that is what you are. You can be a humanist and become a tech guy. It
Yeah,
depends on
I
what.
agree.
Just experiment with stuff and see if you like it. That's all. If you really want to do something, you can do whatever it is.
Exactly. I mean, you can start with many coding languages. You don't need to be very techy. You don't need to understand a lot of abstract concepts. Basic understanding of very simple concept is more than enough to create artworks, like even very complex artworks. And yeah, I think currently you don't need. I mean, of course, you can pursue a path of your art that is very tech related, that explores the technology behind it, that, I don't know, like gets in dialogue with the technology. Maybe that's something I love. But if you want to focus only on a visual part, conceptual part, etc., I don't think there's no huge need going that way. But yeah, I like what Nicu said about like I call it what you said basically. I call it code bashing. So you take code and you
Yeah,
just play with
yeah,
numbers.
same.
Yeah,
Butchering.
yeah. You can do it with your own code or with any kind of code. And I think the most important part that you said is instant gratification.
Hmm.
That's very important because uh, you instantly see what you get. And the fact that you can really move far away from this artwork and you start to explore things because okay, what does this sign do and why does it stop
Hmm.
working when I delete it, right? Or why
Yeah.
this number is so small or so huge or something like this. It's just yeah, it's much better than going in my concept in my that's what I think. It's much better than going with a book and reading from, okay, now let's write hello world, right?
You could start from there, but yeah. And I found a quote when I was preparing that workshop, which is very good. I don't know who said it, but perfection is the enemy of good. You know, if you strive for perfection, you might never do anything. So you just do something, you be happy with that, and improve. Gradual iterations. It's all about iterating stuff. So, yeah.
I love this quote. I love this quote. I mean, it's really nice one. I feel like there are so many people who are more accomplished in so many stuff, but they are kind of like really afraid to go out there and actually do it and showcase it. But we are learning from mistakes constantly and all the time. And
Hopefully.
like it's like so interesting. I've been like as you've been talking, guys, I've been thinking that if I'm a physical paint artist, perhaps I kind of want to try to draw an apple. So I have an idea, an image of an apple, but I don't know if you ever like come and sit in front of your computer and you're like, I am coding an apple. What I'm trying to understand is that if you have any kind of objective, or you're just like typing and seeing what will happen, or you have an exact image of what you are trying to achieve.
It depends on the case. Sometimes like that. Usually just experimenting, but sometimes you might need to do a thematic thing. Maybe you have a commission, or maybe you have an idea you want to work on. So it's valid both ways. You either have a vision and you try to make something of that, or you just go with the flow and see where you go. But
That is
yes,
actually true, Nico. How we met with Nico, we were working, I was working for a company and we had a membership card, and Nico was an artist who was, for our kind of objectives, creating a cool membership card. So the longer you hold it, black and white would become colorful depending on the holding length, like on blockchain. So I guess like now I get that you had an objective coming from me and like the team,
yeah.
and you were kind of coding to reach this goal. Yeah, okay.
Yes, but all my experimentation prior to that led up to that thing because the building blocks I was using, I already had in my mind from
Mm.
working with that. I was doing cellular automata back then, Pavel. I mean, not only that, but that was my main thing. So I tried to do something with cellular automata. Uh, Anyway, yes, it's a good thing when you have a commission or a restriction like that, a theme. It's nice to work under restrictions because it also leads you in places you've never been if you were just, you know, I like restrictions. Another restriction I impose myself is to make it as small as possible, to work on the smallest computer possible, not to have like, you know, about there is also competition. I'm not going to that, but I have a friend. It's a 13 kilobyte. You know about it? They make games, playable
No, yeah.
computer games, 13 kilobytes total size. Well, they're crazy, but nice. I'm trying to put everything, all the code I'm running. It also runs on a Raspberry Pi, and it's quite complex. But with a lot of effort, you can do it. So it's just like a statement, you know, less is more, something like that. I mean, I don't need touch designer and expensive software and hardware to do something. You can deliver a message without that. So that's another thing I'm trying to. And because of these restrictions, new ideas come for me. Sorry, I spoke too much. I'm excited. Yeah.
Not at all, not at all. Well, I feel like you guys should have some kind of community of creative coders, because I don't know, maybe you have one, maybe you already have some society for you, but I feel like you would be like you would enjoy it a
I
lot.
think there are plenty of that, but I'm not part of any. I don't know about Pavel.
Well, for me, it depends. I think I'm a part of a couple, but my social media activity usually comes and goes. So if I'm working on something, I usually like to work in silence, in focus, and then when it's time to release, I like to get some more community or around people.
That is actually what I noticed when I was outreaching to artists, like including creative coders. Creative coders, like reply time, you reply within like 2 days on average, like my experience. Because, well, now you explained why, like because probably you're like just too into it and you don't check like messages and things like that, which is also really interesting. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming today. Just a quick reminder that you can always require private viewing, which I never provided before, but I hope I will be good at it. So yeah, just email me and we can try to make it happen. And I just want to thank guys so much. You can always find them on social media, on Twitter especially, and maybe they would be happy kind of to help you out if you are planning to start your generative art journey. But as Pavel said, in 2-3 days, they will reply to you because they are busy figuring it out. Thank you so much once again, and we are definitely staying in touch. And it's always such a pleasure kind of to talk to you. You have such an interesting thoughts and always really interesting mediums that you're trying to explore. It's not always just coding, it's more like a build on adjustments to how you code and how you do it and what you adjust. So thank you so much once again and have a lovely day.
Thank you, and thank you too for everything that you're doing. We never thanked you for this, you know, and for all your efforts. And I'm sure your agency is gonna shine very soon. I mean, you put a lot of
Thanks so
effort, and
much.
you are smart. And I wish you good luck.
Thank you, Nico. So straightforward, I'm blushing. Thank
100% sure of your success. I'm not just
thank you
saying that.
so much.
I came at an age where I can see success in people. It's natural,
Thanks. Thank you.
you
That's
know,
really kind.
and your efforts will pay off, definitely.
Also, I forgot to tell you because of my audio issues that I will stop the live stream, but I need you to stay. Okay.
Mhm.
Just for a couple of minutes. Okay, bye everyone.
Thanks.
But we
Thank
are
you.